What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Politics with Steve. Y'all know the drill. Before we get started, I want to take a second, ask everybody to subscribe to my YouTube page, sign up for my email list. Link is below. That is the best way to stay in the loop on all things Politics with Steve. Without further ado, let's get to it. All right, y'all, we got to talk about the ACA. Millions of people have seen their healthcare costs skyrocket as of yesterday. I mean, the average healthcare premium doubled, and you can thank the Republicans for that. The Republican Party let subsidies expire that help people afford healthcare. I mean, think about this. They successfully turned their supporters against the Affordable Care Act, and they supporters greatly benefit from it. And all they had to do was slap Obama's name on it. Obamacare. Demonized it. And look, Democrats tried to stop this. I mean, that was the main reason for the last Trump government shutdown. And there's a lot of misinformation out there about the Affordable Care Act, so let me explain exactly how it worked. Before the ACA, insurance companies was able to deny people for pre-existing conditions. I mean, it was terrible. In the richest country in the world, people were being denied health care, or they was getting health care that didn't cover exactly what they needed. So President Obama passed the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare. And the ACA mandated insurance companies to accept people regardless of their pre-existing conditions. But obviously that made insurance coverage more expensive. Because when you think about how insurance works, if insurance companies have to accept people with pre-existing conditions, they have to expect to pay more for those people's medical needs. So the ACA also paid for a portion of the health insurance costs to make it affordable, which are these subsidies and tax credits that Republicans just allowed to expire. So that's it. That's all the Affordable Care Act did. What part of that is so evil? I'll tell you it's evil. Republicans stripping away health care from millions of people just to provide tax breaks to the richest 5% of Americans. And by the way, that is exactly what's happening. Let me give you a super simplified example of exactly how this works. We probably gonna use some round numbers. Let's say the government have a hard cap on spending, let's call it $100. That $100 is based on what the government planned to collect. But see, when Trump signed the big beautiful bill, the government had to adjust because it planned to collect less revenue because of all these tax breaks on billionaires. So you can't continue to spend that same $100 no more. You got to cut spending. The Republicans chose to cut healthcare subsidies. I mean, it's no different than somebody taking a pay cut at work. If you bring in less revenue, you typically got to cut your expenses. And by the way, all of this talk about, illegal immigrants benefiting from, the Affordable Care Act has always just been a lie. It's clearly illegal to spend any Congress allocated funds on illegal immigrants. The only way that the Americans could possibly have to pick up any, bill in regards to any sort of healthcare for illegal immigrants are maybe unpaid emergency room visits, because emergency rooms have to take anybody that has an emergency, whether they're legal or illegal. But here's the thing. Canceling Obamacare does not change that. And outside of that, illegal immigrants don't have any benefits from our governments in terms of healthcare. And don't get me started on the people who believe Obamacare made their insurance get more expensive. Like, how dumb do you have to be blaming Obamacare for private insurance companies raising their prices? But look, I'll tell you what will raise your prices. Because of these subsidies that expired, a lot of people will decide to decline health insurance. A lot of these will be healthy people, right? Which will lead to insurance companies trying to get it back from everybody else, which will lead to them raising prices. So actually, the lack of Obamacare subsidies being extended will almost certainly lead to higher prices. So it's just an all-around bad situation. But this is what happens when somebody who had years to come up with a plan says on a campaign trail, I have concepts of a plan. And then that person is elected president. The Republicans have no serious plan. And to be honest with you, they don't really care to help. I mean, we seen before the new year, some Republicans have to break with their leadership again to sign another discharge petition to force a House vote to extend ACA subsidies. This was 4 GOP members closer to the center. They decided to vote on Hakeem Jeffries' discharge petition to extend these subsidies for 3 years. These 4 members probably took a look at public opinion. They probably realized only 29% of people actually approve of the way Trump is handling healthcare. They probably know that 70% of Americans want the ACA subsidies to be extended. And 63% of people will blame Trump and the Republicans, and only 19% of people will blame the Democrats. House Speaker Mike Johnson took a look at all of that information, ignored it, and then sent the House home on recess. The only idea, I can't even really call this a plan, that I heard from Trump was dumb as hell. I mean, his idea is to provide people with direct payments to their HSA account. I think it was about $1K, and then people will have to fend for themselves with insurance companies and figure out their own healthcare costs. That is a terrible idea. If anyone has any serious injury or illness, how far do you think that money would go?